The most important thing is jiu-jitsu self-defense. That's why we started self-defense. We got to continue with self-defense. So I need a volunteer. So the first thing you need to know for jiu-jitsu self-defense is how to stand. So if I grab, let's see, you grab my wrist. I need the base. And they're very easy to base this way. Very, very strong here. You don't have to make it so elaborate. Should be a nice grip. This is going to be a fine base, but there is one challenge. Monitor Tony's got decent base right now. If he grabs me, he's probably going to grab me pull. So now I'm going to fall out of the base. So the second he grabs, I don't base here. I base here. Yeah, there. I base away from him. That is the most often overlooked thing. Is when people base, they base static straight down. Well, that doesn't really change my attacker's base. So as soon as there's a grip, go ahead, base. Then my hand comes up. If I need to reinforce it, that's fine. But here, my hand is going to go between his thumb and his fingers and up towards my shoulder. If he's got a strong grip, I may need to get two hands involved. Okay, but the most important part is that base, right? I need to step away from him. So very, very quickly with your partner, one side grab, other side grab, cross side grab, two hand grab, two hand grab, two hand grab. This is my favorite of all the moves for self-defense because it's the exact same defense for all of them. Go ahead, guys. Okay, so come over here. So now we can I'm just going to get rid of the V for a second. So, right here. Different kind of grips. Really, really important if you just grab these. Okay. I'm not going to step back here. So if my left hand is getting grabbed, I don't step back with my left foot. Now I'm stretching out my lat muscle on this side. I've become a lot weaker. Okay, so now I'm also off balance. I'm leaning a little bit. It's hard for me to correct this. I need to step back to this side. Okay, so that's super, super important. Also, I want my elbow close to my hip. I don't want to do this. And now again, like a tug of war, like I'm trying to get away. This isn't very good. I've just made myself a lot weaker. Okay, so I need to try and, when I move, everything moves with me. Now, usually that's not an issue until they grab with two hands. And it's like, Tony's grabbing with two hands, and they go, just strong, pull a little bit. Good. There, this is what happens, right? Somebody tries to base away, but now my elbow is disconnected. So ideally, I want to pull it with me. The rule is still the same. I go up through his thumbs, and if I need to, I reinforce my grip. But occasionally, you get a really strong guy, and he might step back, and now you're stretched out. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to keep your grip. I want to step in. And you see what happens to his elbows. When I step in, I punch up. Here. Okay, just try to hang on. There. This is what I'm looking for. His elbows are up, his hands like this. It's very awkward. I don't want to step in front. If I step in front, now my elbow's going behind me. Also, see where my foot, Monitor Tony's foot is behind mine. It's very easy for him to kick my foot to the side. And I lose my balance. He grabs, I base back. Oh, sorry, my stem keeps some tension there. There you go, he's pulling. Oh, that's great because he's pulling. Keep pulling, pull me to that band. That's where we use his energy. I can't do that to him if he just does this. Okay? But this, that tension, that's what we're relying on. I want him to pull. So when he does pull, I can step in. My foot's behind. Very easy. Very easy to trip. Even if I don't trip him, he's off balance. And that's the goal. Okay, so we're going to have two things happen. Their elbows will come up. So it's very easy to put my elbow into their chest. It's not a palm strike. It can be, but it's not. Okay. Pull. And then hand up. Or sorry, hand up and then foot behind. Okay, so just a little bit off balance.
Yeah. First motion is always back, though, right?
Always back. And what we're looking, and this is a huge, huge strategy for jiu-jitsu, is action-reaction. I'm going to pull, he'll pull back. If I push, he'll push back. So we want to create the action that's favorable to you. It's very natural for me to pull away. If my base is compromised, I bring my hip to my elbow, right? And then knock him off balance. Go ahead, guys. I actually had two really good questions, so I'm going to go off on both of them very, very quickly. Sensei Ken's asking if you grab with two hands, please, one on each side. No, but Sensei Ken was asking.
Oh, I see.
So, there's this one. Clap your hands, read a book, comb your hair. And I like this one for kids. It's super easy. First day they walk into my school, I'll show them that because it's something they can take home and do right away. I had a little girl who was about 5, came in, did a class, ended up unfortunately moving, came back 3 years later. She's like, the first day I came to class, you showed me this. First, remember, like 3 years later, it's super, super easy. Now, what I asked first Sensei Ken, he's like, which one's right? As well. Now I get to impart my wisdom on you. When you tie your pants, some of you guys get one knot or one little bow, and you loop it around and pass it through. Some of you guys go loop one side, loop the other side, pass it around, go through. Some of you guys, if you're like me, you do the super tie, which is just like that. Which one's better? The one that keeps your pants up. Okay? It doesn't matter. If you like this and it works, do it. And that's the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu, because what's going to work for some of you is not going to work for others, and that's fine. That's not wrong. It's jiu-jitsu is the gentle art. Art is choice. It's your choice. I'm just going to show you some things. You can use this brush or you can use this brush. It's your choice. I'm going to paint the picture with you. It'll be very, very beautiful. But if you like this one and it works, as long as it works, that's great. No problems. Sensei Trevor's question was two-hand grab, but the guy has his other foot in front. I don't want to cross. So it's a good question. I don't want to do this. I'm twisting myself up. So it starts the same way. I come in. I still want to come up, but now it's like the whole, we can get into the karate thing. You put the leg in, chop, right? They're very easy to do. Right? You don't have to do the foot sweep at all. You don't like to do foot sweep, don't do foot sweeps. Right? So put the leg you want the leg here, inside the inside. Very easy to check his base. Okay, so I just want to take him off balance. It doesn't have to be a strike. Okay, you can just grab his shoulder and sweep his foot. Doesn't matter at all. Okay, so give that one a try quick. You don't have to do the sweep. The sweep is because it's fun and it's there. It's just, you know what the sweep is for? Is for on the mat to practice, to check your partner's base, have some control. It's very unlikely I'm going to sweep someone on the street. Okay? Anyone know why? All he did is grab my arm. I'm going to knock him on the floor and stomp on him because he just grabbed my arm. I don't know why he grabbed me. So go ahead, two hands, please. It's likely going to be, whoa, calm down. Okay, relax. I'm not going to knock the guy down. But it's good to practice because it's fun. Fun to practice foot sweeps. They've got mats and we're all nice and controlled. Okay, so it's a little bit easier, and just check your partner's base. You do have to be careful. You can put one foot in front, please. This sweep, easy. Not gonna hurt him. Switch your foot, please. This sweep, be a little more careful. That's how you roll your ankles. Or not my ankle, his ankle, right? So be careful. Just be gentle with the sweep, but they are fun to do. Okay, so now we're gonna go on to the next one. I believe you guys know all the pushes. Okay, same side, center, cross side. Yeah. Okay, so let's go very, very quickly. Tony pushes on one side, trap the arm, I step back and receive. So my hand goes into the armpit. This is the biggest challenge we have with beginners is the attacks. The attack ends up being like this. Well, if you come up to me with that, hey, how you doing? Okay, so there's got to be a little bit of commitment. It's not this. Okay, it's almost a strike. Okay, it's that commitment and some stepping forward, but you can't stop. So usually it's because people are a little nervous about hitting the ground and falling. So no break falls. Don't worry about it. This is just practice entrance. So when the push happens, right there. Oops, sorry. Hand goes up into the armpit. Again. Here. You can make a fist if you like, and turn your pinky towards you. Okay, that's actually a really, really big thing. Now, the grip is on the elbow. Whether, if you have the material, you can grab it. Try to get the elbow. Hands underneath, and watch my right hip. It's not square. Turn. So you don't hurt your groin. See my feet on that yellow line. I step off the line. Okay? It's like the little points of the square. Shoulder width apart, step back shoulder width, turn shoulder width. Don't try to make it perfect, just move how it's natural. Do a step, step and step. And your body will find what feels good. Okay, so step back, recede, hand comes up, butt goes through, and lift. Don't do the throw unless you're comfortable with break falls. Go ahead, guys. All right, so there's a few things you got to be aware of when you're doing the throw. One is the big one is the attack. Okay, now if actually I'm gonna get Tony to do the knee. So with me up. Okay, it's awkward because my attack is awkward. If I go again, okay. We didn't do anything different, but I gave him more of my weight, so now it's like, oh, I'm gonna go. We need to make the pressure consistent, but we're bringing the intensity down. Because Tony's not going to attack, or he's not going to defend an attack like that. Okay? This attack he's not too worried about. That's not the proper defense. This defense is for when the guy's here. Okay, don't stop throwing. Enjoy the ride. If I'm going to go like that, I'm going to go to your throw shot. But I'm not going to do it again. So then we can build up the intensity. But the important part is if I don't really commit my weight, he doesn't get a chance to feel what my weight feels like. So when someone does commit to the attack, usually what ends up happening, you'll step back and then you end up falling down because you're not used to how fast that weight comes on top of you and what it feels like. So you end up losing your balance and falling down with the guy on top of you, or you throw the guy and you end up rolling because you're not used to how much momentum there is. So the biggest thing is just be consistent pressure. Just walk. You won't throw. Yeah, there you go. Now again, the thing that makes this easier is the more comfortable you are with your break falls, then you don't care about getting thrown. But it takes time. And yeah, for sure, it's scary. I'd much rather push with this hand than this hand, because I break fall all the time off this side. I don't do this much on this side. So you're going to pick the side that you're comfortable with. Now, there was a question about feet placement. So if I'm here, I step in, I don't want my feet wide. Okay? And the reason why, watch my right knee. Oh, he's going to fall on it. Typically, people that have wide stance also do this. The knees turned in. Now, if my knees over top my foot, it's not terrible, but I'm worried about this, the pressure coming inside and actually taking off my knee. In judo, they do they say heels together. And it's not because they throw like this, it's a reference. Because if I take my heels apart, they're shoulder width. And this is nice and strong. This is where you squat from. You don't really squat from here. This doesn't really make you that much stronger. There are, of course, changes to the throws. Guys will put their foot out. So this way a little bit easier. There you go. Here. But this is a lot different. You see my foot. Not here. Okay. Here. Really nice throw. But my stance is different. It's a lot more like that karate forward stance. This is what we're looking for, and if you can, heels together. And again, that's just to make sure your feet are shoulder width apart. The wider they go, sure, you feel more stable, but now I can't move. I'm stuck here. If he falls on my knee, that's going to take my knee out. Now, as one little add bonus for the blue belts, the push comes. Sometimes guys see it come. This is more sport. And now Tony isn't going to jump around this side. He's going to jump around here, and then he's going to put me in a headlock. So jump around, put me in a headlock. Uh-oh. Okay. Now I don't want to get caught in a headlock, but sometimes guys slip off. So say you're a little bit more judo now. That's an experienced guy. That's there. So we got our grips. I go in, I see my entrance for Sainangi. Now I'm getting caught in this headlock. Okay. So what we need to do is pressure on the shoulder. Okay, this is very similar to your armbar entrances. So again, this is a tricky one. This for the blue belt can be a little challenging. Okay. As you feel him go, my bicep is in his armpit. And he jumps around, I push and move back. Okay. Now I can. Are you okay right now? Yeah. Shoulders are fine. Yeah. Okay. This is sport. I'm not going to control him. I'm going to drop to the floor. Put him down.
Using your shoulder?
This part, the front of my shoulder, top of my bicep. So it's a lot of pressure on the back of his arm. But you have to be careful, because guys that have bad shoulders, they pop out right away. There is a lot of pressure on it. So it's the equivalent again of this. A little bit of circular motion. You're trying to go nicely here. As soon as I take one step back, I'm dropping down. I'll go on this angle so you can see maybe a little bit better. Right here. You guys been working on this part?
No. Can you show?
For sure. Okay. So let's give the white belts a chance to practice this. Feet shoulder width apart, or the V. Okay. That's your goal. Hit that V. Okay. And the blue belts can practice. What if he jumps and goes for the headlock? Drop your shoulder down. Go ahead, guys.
Push.
Well,
Yes.
and the fights I've been in when I was a kid,
Yeah.
not lately, rarely do you get it's just like a jab,
Yes.
pushing and a little bit of
Yeah,
that, and you're like,
he's taunting.
Yeah.
Right? It's like provoking.
Yeah, so what would you just keep deflecting?
That's perfect because it goes right into what I wanted to show you. That's all. So
There you go.
it all comes down to range. I do not want to get into a fight here. So one of us is going to get hurt, okay? And it's going to be fun. Here, okay, a little bit safer. I might be able to negotiate from here. If he's going to do anything to me besides throwing something at me, he's got to take a step. Okay? But this is a bad spot to be in. This is getting worse. Okay, this is what I want. I need to get my hands on. Okay? This is the most important thing. We can't negotiate from here. We can't talk. I can't calm him down. If he's really freaking out, okay, this is really bad because there's too many places you can hit with too many weapons. This is what I want. And it's fingertips. It's gentle. Okay? It's not intrusive. It's not this. I'm not pushing him. It's here. Now, a lot of people think you need to have a long stance. Like, whoa, calm down. Okay, well, this isn't what I want. He can still knee. He can still punch me really easily. I actually want to be here. My feet are shoulder width apart. There's not even one foot in front of the other one. It's just neutral. This is super important that my fingers are on Tony. So if he tries to push into me, whoa, calm down. My palms are on him, push into me. And I have to adjust. This is the most overlooked part. When I have my fingertips on him, there's a little buffer between my fingertips and my palms, about a push and a half. I'm not pushing, it's just very, very gentle, isn't it? So these are like little shots. Okay, if he pushes, I know he's coming in. Okay, I can adjust my weight. If I put my palms on Tony, as soon as he moves forward, all that weight goes through my arms. I can't adjust my elbows enough. My fingers are very, very sensitive. Right? So I want to calm him down here. And if he does try to push in, whoa, easy, calm down. And then I back him up a little bit. Okay? I don't want this, I don't want to build momentum. So this is the very, very first part. If say I slip, go ahead and push. That's okay, find your stance, and then bring it back down. Okay? From here, now he's far, far more limited on what he can do. If he's going to push, easy. Calm down. This is what I want to get back to that position anyways. If he wipes a hand off, I put it back. I don't want to fight. Relax. This is the same thing we tell the kids. The 4-year-olds, the 3-year-olds do it, all the way up to the adults. Back to the same position. So just practice this, and your partner is just going to do like maybe the little head fakes and that. No, easy. Hands go back. Wipe the hand off again. Not that. Don't start fights. Okay. Not that. No Bruce Lee 1-inch palms. Okay? Nice and gentle, nice and relaxed. Okay? So with your partner, check that. And what you're going to see is your base. Try it with your palms flat and see, your toes will come up. You won't lose your balance. Try it with your fingers. You'll be a lot better balanced there. Okay, go ahead, guys. What's your question? Good morning. So, for sure, I'm taking away the amount of tools. If a punch does come, oh, it's much easier to see it. Okay, that's a tour. One for 20 can get into what to do when the punch comes another day. Okay, this is just everything should come from here. A concern as well. What if he tries to move me into going? So go ahead. Say, oh yeah, for sure. That is a potential threat, and I have to be aware about that. I'm less concerned about this than I am about the headbutt. I'm way more worried about the headbutt. But the idea is the same. This is all about sensitivity. See how I keep my fingers when you lean in a little bit? Okay. When you watch the posture, what do you mean? You can't have a strong knee just by going, watch my head. I'm not worried about that. Like, that's not going to hurt me. I'm worried about this. The guy's going to push into me and knee. So, he's here and he pushes in. Whoa, 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 calm down. Get back, man, get back. The headbutt is the one that you got to be more careful with. Because the headbutt's, the range is actually pretty close. So if you do go in for the headbutt, whoa, 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 ease up. Okay? So this is super important. This fingers, it's all sensitivity, and that's why it's fingers, not this. And now if you go to knee me, it's gonna get there before I can react. Because when my body is tense, I lose sensitivity. It's like working outside in the wintertime with gloves on. It's like I can't feel, I'm trying to unscrew something. It doesn't work. You have to be relaxed, and that's hard because you're probably freaking out right now. The guy's in your grill, he's screaming at you for whatever, whether it's your fault or something that he's just mad about with somebody else. You have to be able to be sensitive enough to understand what his attack is and answer it, and not freak out so much you attack him because you're so amped up. You're like, oh, and then you hit him, right? Or I want to choke someone or armbar him so bad because that's what we train in class. Like, no, you have to relax. You have to stay in the moment. Everything's relaxed. Right? There was one other question down here. How's your break pulse? Not so good? Okay. What if you go for a Sayanagi and the guy jumps on your, he grabs on tight? Sure. What did you want to do? Just jump on my back? There. He's going. The only thing that's going to keep you on my back is if he wraps his legs around me. And some of you guys seen MMA? That happens, guy jumps in the back with the choke, puts the hooks in. Every once in a while, guy does a flip. What happens? This guy gets his face peeled off the mat half the time. And it's nasty, like on the mat, and that's got cushioning. So if you do get grabbed, we're gonna make it even worse. What if, get around my throat? Sure. Still go, the throw's still there. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you botch it. The best thing to do is the right thing. Second best thing to do is the wrong thing. Worst thing to do is nothing. Right? So if you don't know, throw the guy. If he hangs on, you're probably going to go with him and you're going to land on him. Okay? So good question. Easy answer though. Guys, we'll give you a moment, get a drink, and then we'll come back with escapes. How to actually shrimp. I'm almost don't want to put it on video. Like I don't want other people to know. And it's there's one word I can put with this, and then everyone's like, oh, I have to know it. That's the Hickson shrimp. And Hickson Gracie, he's like going to black belts, doing seminars. I went to one of his seminars, and 115 people, about 15, 18 black belts, showing simple things, doing simple corrections. Now, I'm not going to show you the escapes that he does, but I'm going to show you the shrimp. Master Baron had gone down, done a seminar Hickson Gracie was doing, and he showed how to properly shrimp. And Hickson is making corrections on other black belts, which is crazy. Making corrections on black belts that have several degrees on their black belt. So this is super important. This is the one thing I think I learned as a brand new black belt. And part of me was super frustrated that I didn't learn how to shrimp properly until then. And part of me was like, well, this is super exciting because how many places while you're rolling do you shrimp? Everywhere. This is the one move, if you forget everything else today, this is one move you have to remember because this will affect 90% of your game while you're on your back. Okay, so it's super, super important. Now most people, I like to go online and see what the good line is. Most people do this. They kind of turn to the side and slide out. Right? And that's, especially when we're going on the mats, that's kind of easy way. That doesn't work. Okay? It doesn't work for a couple reasons. One, too much of my body's on the mat, so I have too much friction. Okay? Another reason is there's nothing on top of me keeping me down. So that's the big one. Unless someone passes my guard and they have to put their weight on me, this is okay. But I still don't want to drag on the ground. The big one is you need to bridge and shrimp. And here's the most challenging mistake. People do this. So a proper shrimp, let's do it. And you can do it. When you do your escapes, all the escapes we're going to do today, nothing requires good speed. Okay? If you're doing it fast, then you're probably doing it wrong. Right? You should be able to do all the escapes as slow as you want. I don't need this leg right now. I'm going to turn, or keep my foot in and turn my heel out. I bridge up. My shoulder's in the air, my hip is in the air, as much as I can. I am not a flexible guy at all. When we do like these kind of tables, that's it. I'm flat like a table. We got some people that have nice arches, not me. Heel out, up, and now the only thing touching is my pinky toe, the ball of my foot, my elbow, a little bit, and mostly my shoulder. To move myself away. I'm far, far stronger by turning on an angle. As soon as I bridge up, this collapses. So that is the key, bridging at an angle. So a lot of people are going to bridge straight up or not bridge at all. This takes the fitness element out of the shrimping. Where sometimes you just get, guys are strong and just do this, throw up, and what's the most common thing? Your feet fly off the floor. Okay? So think of it like yoga. And nice and light. Okay? Easy. Shrimping shouldn't be a challenging thing. It should be something everybody can do, but it's learning how to shrimp properly. 9 years shrimping, thought I was doing a good job, and I get a correction from Alberta. Like, no, you're good enough. Do this, do this. It's like, oh, it took me about 9 months to kill the old habit and put the new habit in. All my escapes got better, like so much better. This is one of the two most important things you need to do about escaping is how to shrimp. So you don't need a lot of space. You don't have to go in a long line. Just go one side, and then come back, and then same thing. For now, it's fine if you make it 2 motions. 1, 2. But eventually, we're just going to do up and up. Nice and light. Okay, so keep the hips moving. This, again, the only thing, if you walk away with nothing else, knowing how to shrimp is going to change the rest of your game. Okay? Go ahead, guys.
Dismiss.
Warm up. Shrimps, man, I don't know how many thousands of shrimps I did until black belt. And then after black belt, when I learned how to shrimp, how to do it properly, thousands more, just trying to make that correction. The nice thing is when I was making the correction, I was very, very focused on, okay, I'm doing this, this, this. And when I said do it like a yoga kind of thing, nice and slow, I did that for like 3 months, like just down the mat. I don't know, 20 a day kind of thing, not a ton, but enough where I was focused on all the angles. Now to make it a little bit more interesting, we're gonna show you a tripod and then another kind of fun move. So foot's in, bridge up at that angle, and then just into your knees. Okay. This is a big one, getting onto your knees or just going belly down. So even if it's just here, that's fine. But this foot does not leave the floor. Up, hip out, and my leg comes underneath. If you want to go toes nice and wide, that's fine. If you want to go onto your knees, that's fine. Try not to do this. And then step over. It's not wrong, it's just different. It's like tying your shoes. No, it's not wrong. It's just a different motion for a different time. So tripod is 1. The other one is the fun one. Not that tripods aren't. Bridge, shrimp, whoop, and roll. Okay. Bridge, shrimp, roll. Do a 180-degree turn. Up, I start to shrimp, bring my legs over. Give that shot, guys.
Yes.
Tripods are looking really, really good. It's, most people do like a step over instead of a tripod. Okay, so you guys are doing a nice tripod. The roll, tricky, eh? That's rolls are fantastic, and especially rolling slowly. Okay? It does a lot of things that are fantastic for jiu-jitsu. One, balance. Doing a roll slow is hard. It's challenging. So when you're warming up, man, this is perfect. Like when I say treat it like yoga. Treat it like yoga, nice and slow, controlled. It's easy to do things fast, man. Easy to ride a bicycle fast. Going like super slow, not that easy on a bicycle. Doing jiu-jitsu, slow motions, you have to be very, very, very aware of your balance. So shoulder rolls are great for balance. And the other one that's a lot of people don't think about is it's great for neck stability and strengthening your neck. There's a lot of chokes in jiu-jitsu. People are constantly trying to grab your head, put in headlocks, or whatever it might be. This is really, really good for rehabbing your neck and making it stronger and more flexible. Right? So we're going to do a little different drill than what you just did. Okay? A little bit easier, a little bit more challenging. I'm making a T, hands off to the side. I turn, look at one hand, turn my other hand upside down. Okay? So palm up, palm down. Bring my knee in, I push, and I roll. I come back, over the other side. I need to roll my shoulders. The tricky part about doing the a tripod to a roll, we're going up, is right here. Sticking your head underneath. If you try to look this way, you can't roll. I have to turn underneath to start my roll. Hold on right here. The challenging part is you're not used to your body yet for jiu-jitsu. It's like, well, where does your weight need to be? This is a really, really good move. This shoulder roll alone helps with a lot of escapes for positions and submissions. It's teaching you how to turn your arms, turn your shoulders so you're allowed to move. Getting out of Kimura's arm bar is super important to be able to do this. So try belly down, hands out, arm to the side, look the other way. It's going to be very awkward to go this way. And go nice and slow. Feel where your balance is. What part do you start to fall down and then use your abs? Go ahead, guys.
Yes.
Really only one rule for shoulder rolls. Be silent. Okay? And I don't mean like stop talking. I mean don't. So when you're rolling, try not to do stuff like this and flop around. You want to be quiet. A roll that is quiet is soft. Soft things don't make noises. So if you do your shoulder rolls and you're like this, it's not wrong. We want you to try and have the ability to go where you want to go. But rolling to the side's not wrong. Sometimes like we do rolls like this. Then you come back. It's not wrong at all. In fact, you might want to do that sometimes. So play with different ways of rolling. Now, if you're not rolling where you want to go, that's okay. Does it feel a little awkward? Probably a little bit. Try to find it not to be awkward for you. So your body is a tool. You got to find out where your balance is and how it can be used to be as efficient as possible. Jiu-jitsu is not just about self-defense. It's a lifestyle. It's like how to be in touch with your own body, your own balance, and accept the body that you have as your tool and how are you going to use it. So if you're going off to the sides, don't worry. Base one, don't hurt yourself. And then second, don't hurt someone else. Don't axe kick them in the head. So I was telling Mark for Tony, these are really good drills to do because sometimes you're rolling with someone, there's another group right here, and you get thrown or swept, and you know that they're there, you have a little bit more body awareness, you can pull those legs up and not kick them in the face. And so that's super important. Now we're getting on to the super important part. You know how to shrimp, rolls again, you're aware of the rolls at least. escaping mount, escaping Kesa, Gatame, and escaping side mount. Those are the three that I want to get with you guys today. So I'm going to borrow, mount is the first one. So we're going to stick to that shrimp that we did. Now, I said you need two things to escape, okay? One of them is your shrimp, okay? Or that shrimp, when I say shrimp, I mean bridge and shrimp. That is a shrimp. Bridging and shrimping is one thing, okay? Not two separate entities. The second thing is posture. Now, where do you want to be in mount? Yeah, you. Okay. That's pretty good. A little bit higher. There you go. Needs to get a little bit. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, really good. Now, squeeze a little more. There you go. Okay. I want you guys to be able to escape a black belt mount, not a white belt mount. Okay. Escaping a white belt mount is easy. Just bridge. That will fly off you. Escaping a mount where the guy knows what to do, that's more challenging. So there's a couple things we need to point out to make sure you guys have a good mount. Tony's knees are squeezing together slightly. Fairly slightly. Maybe a little bit more. There you go. Okay. I asked Master Brandon about this. He did a demo on me. Sat here for 2 minutes as he talked, and I almost went unconscious because of the pressure that he had. It's just like, oh, we'll just get to your point. I'm gonna pass out. This is getting horrible. So there's tension here, and this is important. If you relax the tension here, see what happened to his hips? His hips drop down. Man, great for me. Because where does his hips drop? That's all his weight dropped right on my hips. Now I control this weight. Remember on the self-defense we had the fingertips, and that's like our shock absorbers. When he squeezes his knees together, his hips come up. So now when I bridge, you can feel when I start to move. Knees are apart. Way easier to bridge over that. The reaction time is gone for him. So this is super important. You don't have to crush the knees together, but we want to keep the knees together and keep the hips up. Now, these things work together because if his hips are up a little bit, the weight goes into his knees. If he relaxes his knees, the weight comes down and the weight slides apart because there's no weight on his knees anymore. It's on me. So if I can, I want to get the weight on me, but it's hard because his knees are together. Okay, so one thing we will be aware of is this. The other thing that's really, really keeping him on top of me are his feet. Okay, so his feet, the insides of his feet, are hooking onto my hips or my butt. Super important. Can you put your toes up, please? Never, ever, ever do this. You're flexible. Yeah, you know, hey. You can't do that if you wanted to, could you? I freak out when I see people do this. Little kids do this. They sit down with nobody underneath them. Feet pointed out. It's just, oh, good. It's terrified. Aren't you? Turn your feet in. Feet point out. That's how you blow your knee. That's how you're out of training for 6 months. Okay, so this is the important part because not only are his feet got a connection to me, when I bridge, he can hook onto me. Okay? If his feet are out, there's no connection, he flies off. So these are his hooks, just like in rear mount. This is mount, those are his hooks. So this is the most important thing I need to get rid of. If I get rid of this, his feet, then this will follow. Okay, and then I get his weight. So what I need to do is see how my elbows are out. I need to get my elbows in front of his knees. So I'm just gonna push, I'm gonna wait here. Now already, you see his feet are off. Okay, my elbows are in front of his knees. I am not pushing into his knees. I'm pushing into the floor. Okay, I just want my elbows close to my ribs and into the floor. And here's why. If I'm pushing this way, say you had a post with a 100-pound weight on it, and you need to get that weight, what are you going to do? Kick the post out, the weight will fall. Okay, because the weight is pushing into the ground. If I push into Tony's knees, he can just lift up my arm, and now he's corrected his posture. Yeah. If I pull my weight into the floor, go ahead, pull. Now it's muscle versus muscle. Okay. Now I don't want to get into a battle of cramping, hey? Yeah. Another thing, a good amount is hard to hold. Okay. So here, I don't want to get into a fight of muscle versus muscle. If he does start pulling and I don't like it, bridge, move. He's going to put his hands down. Or he doesn't, he just falls over. Okay? So keep your elbows in. Whenever you don't like something that's going on, you want to try and get to this posture first, and then if he starts to try to choke, bridge. Doesn't matter. Okay? These aren't big bridges to throw him off. These are bridges to check his base. Okay? Elbows are in. Now, just like we did with the shrimp, I'm going to put my feet in between his feet. I'm going to turn my foot out. Remember when I showed you guys earlier? Yeah, this is the thing. Okay, so feet are together, touch the big toes together. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Find his feet. If I have to step on his feet, turn my foot out. I'm going to kick my legs straight and turn my toes to the side. And you see my hip starts to come up a little bit. My knee now starts to point straight to the roof. That's all we're looking for. You can do this as slow as I just did this. This works super well. I'm going to do it from the other angle so you guys can see my feet. A lot of people are concerned about the choke, or maybe the arm bar, or the wrist lock, or whatever else, or maybe punches. And don't get me wrong, this does work as punches, just means that clock is a lot faster. I'm not going to go slow. Okay, if the punches are going, I just speed up the pace. Elbow, elbow, elbow. Foot in if I have to get both. That's the battle. This. Okay, unhooking the feet. Once the feet are unhooked, I hold my foot aside, straight, turn. When I turn my pinky toe to the floor, my hip comes up, my right hip comes up. I bridge, and then I shrink. Here. If he stays on his knees, likely I'm going to recover a guard of some kind. Open guard, butterfly guard, freedom hip guard, maybe a closed guard. If his hips hit the floor, then I'm going to try and get on top right away. And that's most common with kids. People that are unaware of their balance, new people, this will happen. There. Once the hip hits the floor, stand up. If you're on the bottom. So you can try for a second. So, one's got good balance, so you just point his hand up. So go ahead, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Yep. Undo the feet. Yes. Good stuff. Do your bridge. Good. My hip hits, now he's going to pass my guard, stand up. Yep, there you go. Right into the next part. So with your partner, it's the exact same shrimp you had. So you already know the shrimp. The second key that's super important is posture. You need your elbows in front of your knees. You need to unhook your feet with their feet. If you don't do that, everything you do before that is a complete waste of your energy. I'm sorry, it's wrong. Don't do it. The guy on top, if I mount you and you try to bridge without affecting my posture, I know exactly you don't know what you're doing. I'm just going to wait you out and you'll succumb eventually, right? If I don't want to do it right now. So affect my posture. I'm getting so good at this at the club. You guys know they just leave mount. As soon as my elbows start being in front of the knees, they try to jump away and get away from it because they know what's coming. You can't. You feel how off balance you are. Okay. So I'll walk around. I'll make sure you guys have a good mount first, and you guys can escape it. Go ahead. All the pieces to the puzzle here. I don't want to teach too much at once because then it gets overwhelming and you can't remember what's going on. So, in layers, right? So, shrimp is looking good. Posture is good, and again, that is the most important thing. The little kids can do this. I have like 8, 9-year-olds. They do this one, and it's night and day. Tell them to bridge when the elbows and armpits, they do not get out. Once you get the knees or the elbows in front of the knees, they're getting out 90% of the time. If you have a child that can't do something, then they immediately start losing confidence in the technique and then they lose confidence in themselves. Okay? It's for the instructors that are here, it's your job to make sure that the kids are starting in the right spots. As adults, we can process the information a little bit better. And it's easier to not take it so personally when we fail at escaping. Because you can remember those things, and when someone comes around and tells you, like, oh no, make sure you have your elbows in front, and you're like, oh yeah, right, and then it works, and then you're back to normal again. But with kids, it's super, super important. You can't set them up for failure. So by putting yourself in a position where the other person's posture is better than yours, you're setting yourself up for failure. Don't try to escape. Get that battle for posture. And then the trick then is really knowing what are the right postures. Okay, so you have the right posture for mounting. This is a really, really good one. So we're so the next part that's going to throw you off is you get a nice bridge. A tool I use for kids to help visualize, because very often they'll do this, they'll get this, and then they go here, and they bridge straight off. Okay? So what I'll say is, I'll put my hand right here, say, I got a big cream pie, I want you to stick that pie right in their face, but you can't move it. Okay? I'm going to put my hand up, put their face right in that pie. And now that they can visualize that arc, the bridge becomes much, much better. Okay? So my head's on the floor, I'm looking at that pie, I want to go there. There, my hip is up. Now, it's very natural for him to put his hand on the floor because he doesn't want to fall over. Okay? I cannot take my elbows off him in front of his knees. So if I do this and then I start to push, he's going to climb right up, and now, now I'm getting arm barred. So I need to push his hips away, but when I'm here, I can't reach his hips. If I put my hands on his hips, now my elbows are in front of his knees, and he'll take them off, and now I'm in trouble again. So don't think of it, remember we're doing the self-defense. When you base away, if your arm is extended and you can't bring your elbow to your hip, bring your hip to your elbow. Okay, it's the same kind of idea. I want to put my hands on his hips, but I gotta bring his hips to me. So the feet are entangled, I bridge, and now watch. There! Now his hips touch my hands, now I shrimp away. So I don't want to reach for his hips are gonna come to me. Okay? And that's a big thing that you have to realize is if you do the move properly, it requires far less work. Right? Here. Right there, no good. He can defend this. No, sure you can do that. Pull that arm right off. There, he's gonna be up right away. You don't have to be. Much better here. So as soon as those hips touch my hand, gonna go this way. Now I can shrimp away. And I'm not pressing him, I'm pushing myself away.
Use that as a post.
Yeah, if he's 400 pounds, I'm not moving that guy anywhere. Move myself away to extend my arms. Okay, so that's it. If you can do this, that's gonna make your mounting escapes so much better. That's all. There's no secrets. There's no little like, oh, I left out 3 things that you really should know. Well, everything you know right now is how to shrimp properly and your posture. And now, when the hips touch your hands, that's your time to shrimp. That's your cue. Okay, go ahead, guys.
Push.
Okay, so now the next 2 escapes will go a lot faster. You can understand a little bit more about the angle of that bridge, which is super important. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show one last thing about it. You don't get the practice because I'm watching. You guys are doing a good job. Some of you guys are into physics and science. Okay, so I'll show you a physics, a reason why this works. You've got your posture, right? Good, I've got my feet in. When I bridge up at that angle, this is the original direction with my pressure. Okay, so up at an angle. When I do push on his hips and I move away, I'm gonna push at 90 degrees off of this line. So if you like angles, this line comes in, I'm gonna push out that way 90 degrees. Okay. Now on a lighter guy, usually they'll drop their hips down. That's when they fall down. Because they will post out with their hand and their knee, and then when you push their hips, this happens. Because I'm making the space between their hand and their hip further apart. That's where they fall. Okay, heavier guys, they won't do that because they're heavier. That's why you're pushing yourself away. So make sure if you like the physics behind it, you're bridging up at one direction, apply pressure 90 degrees off. You can defend one pressure, you can't defend 2. It's too hard. Okay? They have to move. There you go. Side mount is the next one. And the last one I'm going to do. So side mount escapes. Again, everything starts the same, but it's the shrimp, consistent theme, right? Know that shrimp, be good at it, and then knowing your posture. So, in mount, elbows on the floor beside you. Kesa Gatame, elbow on the floor on your side. Keep that weight off you. Side mount is the same. So, Tony here. The most common, see, that's advanced. Not wrong, different, okay? So, he's blocking my hips because he's like, I don't want them to put me in guard. This is an educated person. If someone gets on top of you and it's not a sports setting, they know what they're doing. This is now going to be a bit of a challenge for you. Okay? This is more common, or this is more common. Okay? As a beginner, you're going to get on your back a lot, especially if you're lighter. This is where you should have your hands. Okay? It's not the first place I would like you guys to go, but it's the most common place you'll end up. So jump over on this side, guys, so you can see. The feet, everything's going to be the same as before. My forearm is on his hip, not my hand. Okay? I don't really need it to be on his hip. I don't want my elbow on his hip. I want my forearm on his hip, my hands beside it, hands on his shoulder, forearms underneath his throat. This is an important detail. I don't want this. This isn't very, very good for me. There are for sure other ways to put your hand that can go underneath his armpit, and this is a really good one too. But this is the one I want you guys to focus on. If you get stuck, because usually you can go dig up this kitchen. This is where you're going to get caught. Okay, hands are up, stuck. I need to wiggle, whoops, sorry, wiggle, and get my elbow in, and then I'm not doing this. Yeah, that's how I get caught. I try to go around his head and he catches me at the Americana. I want to roll. Okay? I keep the back of my wrist connected with his head. And that's, if it turns his head, that's even greater for me, but it's likely going to go here. Now, just like before, I'm going to bridge at that angle, not up. Here. And as I bridge, it's a little bit of pull down on the shoulder with my hand, lift up with my elbow. I shrimp away, my elbow touches my knee, and now I recover my guard. Now, you know what? It's likely this is going to happen with your foot inside. That's okay. Because right away, you're going to try and do what? You're doing one of two things. He's either going to posture up or he's going to hold me down. If he holds me down, I'm not threatened. Okay? Because he's going to have to really play a technical game trying to pass my feet. If he tries to posture up to punch, fuck him away. Go on this side. The other view. Here, this is like the worst. I don't want to get caught here at all. So I need to wiggle, I need to wiggle. Stay tighter to me. That's why we had butted before. Keep your head up. There you go. Now. Okay. Okay. There's a lot of things you can go for. Okay? It's just having the proper posture. This is one of the postures. Okay? I'm only going to show you two today. So this one, again, we're here. I don't want this. We have any guys interested in MMA? If you're on the bottom, this is the worst thing you can do. If you're the guy on top and you're doing MMA, man, this is awesome. No, I'll show you later why. Okay? Wiggle, wiggle. Roll the hand in. Bridge. Shrimp. My knee touches my elbow. Posture up for a second, please. Muay Thai, leg check. Okay? Same thing. I'm back in. Then turn and cover guard. Heel and hips. Oh. Whoop. I can look for my sweeps. I'm not going to take his back his arm here. I'm going to go for my plot and slip it up a little at the last side. Okay. So, this is super important. The shrimp is the same. The concept of bridging at an angle is the same. The only thing that's changed here is the position. So instead of mount, instead of Kesa, now he's cross body or side mount. Stay safe. Create a little shelf for a frame. Bridge, shrimp away, touch your elbow to your knee, and recover your guard, kick them away, whatever you want to do. If you want to start your attack, start your attack. If you want to stand up, push away, stand up. Okay, go ahead, guys. On to Gatame. The first escape. Cool, that's Gatame, that's different. It's cool, I'll show you later. Okay. Knees in. Yeah, there we go. So this is like the headlock position on the ground, more of the schoolyard fight. What we want to do is I'm going to grab the gi here, right underneath the carotid artery. Now, it's super important I can't stay flat. So if I'm looking for a proper posture here, which I need to get on my side. Because right now, you're being nice to me. Put some weight into me. There you go. And you can hear, yeah, keep it like this, please. You can hear the tension in my voice now. His weight's on my diaphragm. I have to breathe a little bit harder to be able to talk. Okay, this isn't normal. I need to get my elbow out. So I grab his collar, keep the tension there. You ease it, there you go. And the tension's there because his hips aren't on the floor anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna give a little push and get my elbow to the side. Now that I'm on, my shoulder's in the air, that weight's not coming into me, his weight's back into the floor, and my elbow is on the floor. So it's super important. All your positions on your back, we want to be able to get to our side as soon as we can when there's weight squishing us. This hand that's on his carotid artery now, on his lapel, see my foot, heel's pointed out. I'm going to bridge. It's not a punch. Because he might be very, very strong. I might not be able to break this grip of his just yet. I want to bridge and shrimp away. Again, grab, get my elbow into the floor, bridge, shrimp away, or try to put the pressure on his arm. How are you going to move, Tony? He has to see, what do you have to move first? What's he have to move first? You guys see? His head. Before he'll do anything, he'll move his head. There, once he moves his head, he'll be able to turn his arm. Once he turns his arm, then he'll recover his foot. So I want to try to keep his head facing away from me. It puts a lot of stress on the shoulder. Be mindful. Oh, there we go. Good, get to my side. Hand, bridge, shrimp, tripod to your knees. Out. If he twists his arm, sometimes guys go the other way. Yeah, a little more flexible to make turn. Yeah. Yeah. You have to turn with it, right? Shoulder doesn't bend that way. No. Go on this side.
This shoulder definitely doesn't bend that way.
Be gentle. I lied. Hey. Look away. There we go. Give me your other hand. Oh, cross your feet, easy. Get your hand on my gi, put pickpocket. Look at the tape later, you can see why that's important for something. So again, you gotta get to your side, little bridge, a little shrimp. Sometimes, keep a tight grip. Okay, there we go. Sometimes it's several little shrimps to get my elbow in. Sometimes I can't. Okay, my elbow's in, hands here, bridge, tripod, up. You can jump around on their back. Whatever you want to do is your choice after that. That is the art side of it. Here's the basic part. Once you're on your knees, it's your choice. If you want to do an arm bar, if you want to go for the back, if you want to push them away, stand up, that's your choice. Yes.
For really a bigger guy, it's going to be tough. Is it important to get his head into the mat? Like, or is it, at what point can you shrimp out? Where's the leverage or the pivot point, I guess?
Exactly the same.
Oh, okay.
So I understand what you're saying now. Remember, when I says this is the first escape, that doesn't mean it's the only escape, but it's the first one you have to hit. Because in the process of doing this one, you're going to get a reaction on the guy. Maybe it's the reaction you want, maybe his head comes down. But if it doesn't, then it sets you up for the second escape. Okay, so we've got to get this one first, because we're not going to be able to get escape number 2 unless we get a very specific reaction from the guy on top of us. So the most common escape that works is this one. That doesn't mean it works 100% of the time, because if it did, that'd be the only one I showed you. Well, it's the only one we get to see today, but I'll give the blue belt some more. But this is the first one that you need to know. And then in the process of doing this, you're going to escape, and then guys, your training partner will figure out what they need to do to stay on top. And they're going to come back with you with a little different energy, which is the one that we were describing. And then we're going to go into the next one, which is super common. It's the number 2 move. It's the second most common one. Okay? So with your partner, go ahead, guys. Big bridge, shrimp weight, tripod, kick your knees.